Hello, everyone, and welcome to our third episode of season 1 for our podcast of Law That Leads. We are here with Arianna, who has 2 decades of experience in the real estate industry, specializing in the Dundas and Halton region here in Hamilton. Welcome, Arianna.
Thank you. This is really a pleasure to be here and to be speaking with you.
We're very happy to have Arianna. She's very, very experienced, but
yeah, it's been a few decades for sure. I've seen a lot of different things come and go, and I'm happy to talk about some key issues that we've been facing and trends that I've been noticing. So happy to get started.
Perfect. Well, thank you for coming. We always, or at least in this podcast, we strive to have industry professionals because ALF is a full service firm. So for us, we have each episode, we highlight each practice area. And today we'll be highlighting our real estate practice area, which is the reason why Arianna's here. And communication is very, very important in every field, not just legal and real estate. And for us, I think it's really always important because we have the same client, we're essentially representing the same interests.
Correct.
So tell us, what, in your opinion, is required from the legal side when you're the real estate agent and we're representing the same client, essentially?
Yeah, you've made a great point. I mean, communication is really key. And as real estate deals become more and more complicated, I mean, I remember, 20 years ago, you'd write an offer and then closing would come and you hadn't spoken to anyone really. And you kind of look at your calendar and go, oh, that happened. Whereas now it seems that every transaction is very complicated. It's not as easy as it used to be. People are more litigious and there's different problems that come up. So enabled to have a really good back and forth communication with the lawyer for a realtor is so key for the client's success, really. It really makes it better. You see now there are a lot of people who have been trending to get rental units even in their homes, whereas everyone used to own their AC and their furnace. Now, because of expense or whatever reasons, they'll tend to rent one, and that causes a lot of details that need to be taken care of before closing, whether they need to be bought out or assumed and stuff like that. So that's just one small example of the many things that need to be handled, and communication between the realtor and the lawyer is very important.
And we agree. ALF has, as you know, we developed our own exclusive app.
Yes.
And that was the primary reason why we did, because we now are in a position where we have one chat group for everybody involved. And instead of sending one email, forwarding to the client, forwarding to this, forwarding to the agent, go this, do that, there's only one safe space where everybody
so streamlined.
Can communicate.
Yeah,
exactly.
It's amazing. And you're the only firm really that I know that offers this. So cutting edge, that's great. We're really excited to be involved with your firm and have that option for us, because it really makes us look better with our clients. It helps our clients, know that everybody's doing their job. So it's awesome.
Exactly. So download our app, everybody.
Yeah.
Okay, I have to stop because I don't know how to do this anymore. And I just... Okay.
All right.
Okay. At least we got question 1.
Question 1. Yay.
Okay.
All right.
I forgot. Okay.
So want to talk Tressa now?
Yeah.
We'll make it short points with Tressa, because it's so boring and
go
long,
on
right?
forever. I know.
And and it'll just over most
you can't
people's
see
heads.
the paper, right? No. Okay. Good. Okay. Ready? Do I look okay, or do I need to go like this?
I think we were started as this,
And then I went like this.
Oh. Okay.
Okay.
natural instinct to lean into someone
It
you're
is.
talking to.
Yes.
Right.
It's a natural instinct.
Okay.
If you can try to
Pretend you have a rod in your back
like that.
pushing you.
Okay.
Yeah, if you keep your arm like that, at least.
Oh,
It
yeah,
will
that's
force
good.
me.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's a good.
Yeah. Okay. Ready? Okay. So I guess everybody's talking about Tressa.
Yes.
And there really is this opposite end of the argument. There's a lot of people on one side and a lot on the other.
Yeah.
So in your professional opinion, how do you view this step? Or
Yeah.
do you feel it's in the right direction?
Yeah.
Or is it kind of like us with Accords where we're moving 10 steps backwards?
Right. Yeah. Well, I think it's replacing the REBA Act, so which is 20 years old. So things do need to be updated and reviewed. So it's this being rebranded with a new name, which is the
Right.
Trust in Real Estate Services Act, and it was born out of, I think, a lot of concerns and complaints that perhaps consumers were being treated unfairly during a transaction. So there's really important things that need to be addressed, and I think it's good. The key point, I think, the reason for this update in this legislation, because it's government legislation and then the Real Estate Council of Ontario manages for the government, is that they're trying to reduce multiple representation. So that's the key thing. And the other thing is they're also allowing sellers to disclose details about an offer during the offer process when you're in multiple offers. So there's caveats in that. I mean, I think most people feel like, hey, that's a great thing. It's going to be more transparency, but there are some caveats in that for sure. So they're just rolling it out. December 1st is when it's formal launch, I guess. And then it'll be interesting to see how things play out in both those scenarios.
I can't imagine having other representation for the same client. Like, can you imagine 3 lawyers working on the same?
Yeah, yeah. It's they're doing a designated representative now. They're changing it from you could have 3 types of representation as a client. You're a client, you're in multiple representation, so the realtor's representing both the buyer and the seller, and there's or a purchaser could decide just to be a customer. And I think they're taking the customer away because it was a very gray, muddy area, right? When you're a customer, you don't get the fiduciary duties of the realtor.
I see.
But it sounds so similar, client, customer. There was really no clear definition of what was what. And we found that even though we tried to explain to someone who wanted to be a customer and not get our services and not get a contract with us, that we were really prevented from providing this customer with the services that a client
Would get.
And so you end up giving them those services because there's so much confusion, and we're not supposed to. So now they're saying this person is now an unrepresented consumer, I guess. So they're unrepresented, which maybe makes it clear that they're not working with a realtor and that really the fiduciary duties do not apply to them.
That, to me, from a legal perspective, sounds extremely scary.
Yeah.
Because practicing litigation, everything falls on the purchaser at the end of the day. It's the purchaser that has to do the due diligence. It's the purchaser that has to do the most amount of work to make sure that nothing goes wrong. And if it does go wrong, then at least, what did I just do? They then have at least taken certain steps to show that they were not ignorant. They did do the best that they possibly could.
Yeah.
So how does that come into play if the person says, no, thank you, I'm going to be doing this on my own? And then what?
I mean, I wouldn't recommend it. I mean, I wouldn't want that. I mean, I would want someone's to be working on my behalf and in my best interests, for sure.
Right.
I think it's a very small percentage of people that actually opt to go that way. It's pretty rare. I mean, it really, as a buyer, it doesn't even really cost you anything to have representation, right? Because the seller pays the commission, right? But sometimes, I mean, the motivation, I mean, to be honest, is sometimes the consumer, the buyer feels that they want to be entitled to the commission that their realtor would have received. But it doesn't work that way because you have to be a licensed realtor to get commission. Right? You can't pay commission to someone that's not a licensed realtor type of thing. So I think that's kind of what the kind of goal maybe is of someone who wants to be an unrepresented buyer. But like I said, it's not very common, but now at least it's more clear that what they're getting themselves into.
Right.
Right.
And then it's going to take thousands of lawsuits to get precedence and get an answer
Right.
of how then it's going to shape behavior and
Right.
how it's going
Yeah.
to change over time.
I know.
Which is the saddest part for me because yes, it's a great system to rely on what, how things have been decided in the past and sort of have a direction. But then when you think about it, when things are so new, it really does take a really long time to figure out whether this new thing is for the better or for the worse.
Yeah, I know.
So it's very sad to know that it's going to take years of trial and error before we have a clear answer as to how this is going to go, essentially.
Yeah, I mean, when I started in the business, multiple offers were pretty rare. They rarely happen. And when they started happening, it was like, wow, this is exciting. Why,
Right.
and it was very organic. No one tried to get a multiple offer. It just happened. It was because, inventory was low and a lot of buyers were around, and that's what happened. And prices were a lot lower. Whereas now, most sellers, I mean, my first conversations with them, one of the first things they say is that we want one of those multiple offers situations, right? So now you find realtors are trying to, educate and also
Yeah.
try to, let you know, well, usually what happens is you have to really underprice a property, and then there's risks in that.
Of
right?
course.
So now that has opened up a whole other, set of circumstances and things, as you say, that we need precedents for and learn how to deal with.
Wow. And then I guess that also brings us into the conversation of AI because everyone is using it nowadays.
Right.
I'm not sure how it works in the real estate industry
Yeah.
or how it benefits your practice, but do you see it in a combination with using AI for the benefit or?
Yeah, so I think technology has been really important for us. It's taken us a long way, when the MLS, the internet, and having the MLS system
Right.
rather than a book that's passed around, it's actually there, is become very informative and also entertainment for people. I mean, I know people that just go on MLS for fun, just look at homes,
Just
right?
having a
Everybody
look.
loves to look at homes, right? So we've had that, and then with that came, doing offers on the computer and electronic signatures, which have saved
Oh, yes.
everyone's social life for sure, and freedoms. You don't have to meet at a Tim Hortons or wait hours for your realtor to drive over to your house. Now it's the touch of a pen, and it's so easy. So that's been great. And so the next step, I guess, the Chat GPT, is that what it's
Yes.
called? Yeah. We tried that just for fun for one of our listing descriptions, and you put in some details and whatever. And it wasn't great. Like, it was okay, but it sounded like an AI. And I think for us, we really need to fine tune it and really put our own thoughts together and stuff like that. So I don't see it. Personally, we don't really use it a lot. We
Right.
can tell when we read something if something has been generated that way.
Yes, you can.
And we want to be a little bit more unique. But we've really embraced virtual staging. We think that's been great, especially for empty homes and condos and stuff like that.
Oh, right.
It's that is really fun and interesting to do. So some things are great, and some things will fall by
Trial
the
and error.
wayside.
Okay, we have to stop. Okay, that was great. I feel like we
All right.
got through 3 questions now, right?
Yeah. I probably
Okay.
talked a lot. It's probably already 15
No,
minutes.
it's good because I don't want it to sound like we rehearsed it.
Okay, sure.
It sounded good, right?
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, about technology, I wanted to make a comment, but okay, hold on. I just realized I forgot to put on lipstick. Okay.
Was COVID the last one we were going to talk about?
COVID, and then how do you anticipate the role of real estate agents evolving in
okay.
the coming years?
Okay.
Okay.
Cool.
So I think we can start off from there.
Okay.
Oh my God, my shoe. Okay.
You can only see like the top of your
Okay, good. Because I have my brace on there.
I should have worn nicer shoes. Okay.
No, they're
Not
probably
the grandma
nice.
shoes.
No.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. And I'm okay like this? I'll just sit like this, but I'm scared. Okay, good. So, hold on, let me read the question. Remind me, how has COVID changed the industry so I can rope it into the question?
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
signatures. Oh, I'll start from signatures.
Okay.
Or wait, signatures were before COVID.
They were, but they were really embraced. Yeah.
Okay.
That was helpful.
Okay. Okay. So, speaking of electronic signatures, on our first episode with Anissa, we spoke about this because in the legal industry, it was a big no-no.
Yeah.
You had to have an ink signature,
Yeah.
verify ID, everything
Yeah.
that had to be done. And with COVID and Zoom, everything became so easy, which is the reason why in our app it's so important. It was important for us when it was developed that number one is the communication, having everybody on the same board. And then number two was electronic signatures. So right now it's more advanced than it used to be. Now you get a certificate. What time did the person
Yes.
sign? There's an IP address there. I mean, it's very difficult to kind of move away from that, or
right.
if someone were to argue that that wasn't me or whatnot. So there's
Yeah.
parameters in place. But I guess that was the one good thing about COVID
Yeah.
in our industry. And then the other one was the fact that I could be appearing in 3 different courts
Right.
all throughout Ontario in the same day,
Right.
because you just log on to Zoom and it doesn't take you 2 or an hour or 5 hours to
Yeah.
drive somewhere. So for us, that has been great. But I guess for the real estate
Yeah,
industry, what would you say
yeah, also,
have been the
I-
highlights of COVID?
Very similar. When scanning first became popular, and we would scan offers, and we were told, oh, the lawyers say those aren't legal, and bada bada bada. So there's all this like, uncertainty and nervousness and whatnot. And then electronic signatures started coming on. And so I would say it was probably a 50-50 thing. We were doing them. I mean, they have a timestamp and all that, so it was a more organized system. So we were doing, some electronic signatures, and we were also going to meet with clients still, because we had, some people wanted to see us and
Right.
feel it and talk to us. And so I felt that's part of the service, and I like that, and I still liked presenting offers in person. Still miss that a little bit. But then COVID hit, you're right, and it was like no more in person.
Cold turkey.
I didn't even do, honestly, I don't think I did any Zoom calls with clients. It wasn't a Zoom call-y thing that we did. It was on the phone, and then the electronic signatures, but we would see our clients at showings, right? So
Right.
that's maybe the difference. And but it really saves a lot of time, and especially with the way traffic is now to get. I used to be able to get from Oakville to to the west side of Burlington in 5 minutes. Now it takes me like 45 minutes. Like, it's crazy
Yeah.
to get places, right? So you can be in more than one place, and for my clients, they can still go on their vacation, or still go to the cottage, or out for dinner, and sign and take a minute, go to the bathroom and sign something. And it's allowed realtors to have a bit of a more stable home life as well. So I think that part is great. Yeah, and I think definitely COVID years really cemented that, and people are accepting of it, and it's the new norm.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So what do you think the new norm is going to be in the future for real estate agents?
Yeah. So, there are often, lots of people who are unhappy or critical of the real estate industry, and there's problems like with any industry, right? But I feel that most people that we're encountering as time goes on, especially I got to say the younger generation too, really appreciate having someone in their corner. The same way you have your lawyer that you trust, your accountant, your financial planner, your plumber, your electrician. Like, everybody wants to have their person that they can count on and trust, and they don't have to worry about looking for a person, right? So once they find that, and they may go through a couple, and once they find the one that they like, then you're in their corner, and you're in their portfolio of professionals. So I feel that the industry is just getting more and more professional, hopefully, as we go on, and maybe some people would disagree, but I think that the way we run our business is we're not happy unless our client's happy.
Right.
Right. So service is really big for us, and we hope to become in their portfolio of professionals. So I think if realtors sort of run their business the same way, they'll find that there'll be longevity and success for them.
I mean, I would hate to see one day that you can't even walk into a home with, virtual staging, as you said.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if
Yeah.
it gets to a point where,
Yeah.
this is what it is. You just look at everything from the
Yeah.
internet, whatever you see online, and that's it. That's it.
It's a big purchase to, people take more time sometimes, buying a car,
Right.
It's a lot. It's your largest financial obligation purchase of your life. You'd want someone to help guide you through it, I would think. And sellers have done very well. Prices have gone over the years up and up and up and up. And even though now they're down, they're still up. So, I mean, sellers are doing well.
Yeah.
And the real estate industry has really helped provide them with this successful system that we have called real estate.
I know, and that's exactly what we say to clients too, because we do wills and estates as well.
Right.
And literally that's what we do. We say, you've just made the biggest purchase in your lifetime. And you need to have parameters to protect it. So it's so important. I mean, anytime you have a child, you get married, you buy a house. Those are sort of the 3 top things that have changed in your life that you really should have a will and have those properly protected in case, knock on wood, something happens. Life takes you. It'd be great 1 second, the next second, it only takes a second for things to change.
The same way with, maybe you had a lawyer in the past for a will or a death or a house purchase. And again, now I think, it's really, people, have their lawyer they call on because life is very complicated and you need protections.
It's really funny. I have this conversation with my friends all the time, and we find that our age group are worrying about things that the previous generation or previous generations, like our grandparents, didn't have to worry about things we're worrying now in our 20s.
Yeah.
They didn't have to worry about it until well into their 40s or 50s.
And they flew by the seat of their pants. They didn't worry about stuff. Now we know so much that, you can lie awake at night.
You think of the worst case scenario first.
Yes.
And then when you're always thinking of the worst case scenario, something's bound to happen in between, and that gets closer to you.
Yeah.
It's crazy. We need to cut that out.
No, it was good. It's true.
I think we're good. Do you want to talk about anything else?
No, I'm
Okay.
good.